It's tradition, cheer, and festivities.
Christmas fun, flying through the trees, sleigh bells jingling. Sack all full of toys, bringing Christmas joy to every boy and girl all over the world. Spread season's greetings and slide down the chimneys and give all the gifts, 'cause I'm Santa Claus. Sit on my lap and tell me what you want, then I'll add it to my list, 'cause I'm Santa Claus. Maker of the list, gonna check it twice, gonna find out if you're naughty or nice. Sway up in the sky as the reindeer fly. Can you hear the hooves landing on your roof? Got a round belly, a bowl full of jelly. I eat all them cookies. I'm Santa Claus. I raise such a clatter, you'll see what's the matter. I fill up your stocking. I'm Santa Claus. Here comes Santa. Here comes Santa. Have you been a good girl this year? Hear those sleigh bells jingle, jingle. Have you been a bad boy this year? Let them sugar plums dance inside your head. I may watch you sleep as you lay in bed. Elves all make my toys, they can never die. Welcome to the bone, whip 'em if they cry. Don't you dare bounce and you better watch out, since I'm coming to your town, 'cause I'm Santa Claus. North Pole dictator with elves for slave labor and AIDS, flying reindeer. I'm Santa Claus. Did you sleep and sees you awake? Have you been a bad girl this year? Better be good, for goodness sake. Have you been a good boy this year? Spread season's greetings and slide down the chimneys and give all the gifts, 'cause I'm Santa Claus. Sit on my lap and tell me what you want, then I'll add it to my list, 'cause I'm Santa Claus. The movie palace that gave us hope gives us payday loans, and the kids will never know. Blockbuster video.
Well, hello everyone. It's that time of year again where Rob Zombie Christmas, I guess.
Well, yeah. I mean, that beard, he's got a bag of treats. He has a, kick-ass car. Of course he's Santa.
Why not? So how are
He's got
you?
lots of tree, or is it leaf?
Yeah. So how are you, my big boobed goddess of love?
I'm doing fantastic. I mean, I've got my tinsel on and everything.
Well, I'm saying this because she bought herself this shirt today, or this. It's not really a shirt. What is it?
Shirt.
Shirt. lots of zippers. Very faster pussycat kill. Biker looking, but lots of cleavage. I had a face plant. It was
It was nice.
it was nice. Yes, I am a happy man. And yeah, there's an easy way to stress or to de-stress a man like me. When you've had a hard night and your brain's not working too well and your brain's not feeling, you just grab him by the hair and shove him right between those melons, and suddenly, it doesn't matter what, you're not going to think about anything but those tits for at least like 3 seconds. All thought stops, and it's just boobs of pure joy.
Yes.
And I'm sure that's some sort of evolutionary trait, but I don't mind staying in between them. So, Merry fucking Christmas.
Yeah.
And damn it, we all should be saying it. I've been saying it to everyone today.
Yes. Merry Christmas, everyone.
And Kwanzaa's not a real holiday. I don't care what anyone says, but in Africa, there was the little baby Kwanzaa was not born in a manger, where the 3 homeboys came with Benjamins, Kronk, and a tree.
Yeah.
Or was it Cristal?
Cristal, there you go. I was thinking of I'm so sorry, my brain's frying. What is it that Lando was selling? Lando Calrissian.
Oh, Colt 45.
Yeah. Malt. There you go.
There we go.
Benjamin's malt and leaf.
And weed, yeah. No, they call it tree.
Or tree, okay.
For some reason.
I think because when you're getting like the full buds, it looks like a little tree.
I wouldn't know. You know that?
Oh, okay.
I have never seen marijuana in its raw form or
Oh.
even in a baggie. That's how much I really did not do drugs.
Okay, those plants that we have in the back that drop caltrops?
Oh, God, I hate those things.
It looks like that when it's dried.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw plenty of people smoke weed. I smoked I took a few puffs on a pipe once, and all I did was go to sleep. But yeah, I did so few drugs or drinking when I was in college or high school. Actually, I did 0 in high school, except for the one LSD experience and one hit of the pipe of weed in college. And it was just like, this just isn't doing it for me.
Yeah. Not
And I will
really
say, though,
affected me.
one time I did get drunk in high school. I did my one beer party, and I found that, it made me more intolerable to the people around me than I usually was.
What, beer?
Yeah. Oh, I was an obnoxious shit when I was drunk. Apparently I was just really freaking obnoxious.
Like, what did you do?
No filter on the mouth. Somebody was talking about, I don't understand how relative. I hear people talking about relativity. It's because you're fucking your relatives. It's like, that's not really something you should say to someone.
No.
And then just by pure chance, this was, I live in Southern California. A whole bunch of us went out to the middle of nowhere in the orange groves, circled the trucks, and lit up a fire and blasted music and got plowed.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only time I ever did this. And actually, the police helicopter flew over and like shot a light on us. And when they realized it was just a bunch of teenagers, they just flew off. Didn't even care.
Well, that's cool.
It was like, not worth it. Not even worth it.
See, there's the difference between Riverside and San Diego, because when we were hanging out in a park that had a bunch of tombstones, and the helicopter came by and shined its light on us, they actually told us to leave.
Really?
Yeah, this is in Hillcrest.
Oh, of course, because it was in Hillcrest.
Yeah.
No, this was out in the middle of nowhere. It was in the orange groves.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, stay away from hard drugs. But anyway,
William says that your life is too wild to need drugs.
I think the most obnoxious thing I did was that I'm drunk off my ass and I'm doing a complete dickhead. And it turns out at this big gathering, I run into a girl that my sister was in children's theater with.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, what are you doing here, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
How many years difference now?
well, children's theater was like elementary school to early junior high.
Mm-hmm.
This is my sophomore year.
Okay.
So some time's passed.
Yeah.
And we're talking, and I said, "You're so flat, you played Peter Pan." Ah! I was a total asshole. Because in children's theater, she was the flattest of them all.
So she played Peter Pan?
Yes.
Ouch.
And she had the fewest curves, so they had her play Peter Pan.
Ouch.
Yeah. I was a dick.
That's harsh.
My personality was not enhanced by alcohol. What? And then the next day, I puked and I felt like a complete dipshit and a moron. I was like, I don't like that.
Mhm.
And when I said the thing about Peter Pan, she grabbed me and pulled me and said, "Don't ever tell anyone I played a boy."
Really?
Yeah. I said, okay.
But Peter Pan is traditionally played by a girl, so
And there weren't very many boys in children's theater. It was almost.
yeah. So that's not that big a deal. I mean, it's not like she was playing Michael or John in Peter Pan.
No, they had boys play those characters.
Yeah, so that's fine. Catherine, you'll get used to it. It's hard at first when you're an introvert, but it gets better with time.
Okay.
Oh, she and Eloise are having a conversation.
Oh, well, definitely hit the gym if you got the time. That's always a good thing,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're stressed. What was used to be perfect, I don't know if they do this anymore, is that they had those bikes at the gym
Mm-hmm.
where you could just tune into cable and watch a movie.
Yeah.
And sit there for like an hour and a half and just bicycle and watch.
Well, most machines now will let you do that.
Hell, I remember I would watch Airwolf because there were reruns of Airwolf while I did the bike.
Mm-hmm. No, wait, as far as
Hey, Mario Kart, it depends on what you mean. It gets better with time. Being an introvert, okay, she says, it's been good. Being around people makes me self-conscious. No, you know what, Mario Kart? I don't know why you would say something like that to her. That's kind of fucked, to be honest with you. No. If you're motivated, it fucking gets better over time. You can grow a thick skin. You can adapt.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously. And to say otherwise is bullshit. You may never be comfortable. I'm not. Seriously. Unless I'm comfortable, unless I know a person, I am not comfortable with interacting with strangers. I'm terrible at it. That's why a lot of people think I'm a dick, because I do come off as cold. But you know what? You deal with it.
Well, like anything, it just takes practice.
Yeah.
I mean, like doing this show. That takes a lot when we first started.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
To do this show. Yeah.
You're right. It did. But you see, the thing about this show, the reason I can do this is there's a setting here.
Mm-hmm.
I know what my role is. I know what the rules are. So I don't have to worry about anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, like, during presentations at conventions, I was always excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was surprised because I was shitty at the table. Terrible at the table. But if you gave me like either a speech or a presentation or some sort of panel
or a subject,
yeah, I was really good because I knew what I was supposed to be doing. I knew what the rules were and what I was my boundaries were.
Mm-hmm.
Except for that time that I ripped on the dude about his book. Oh, wait, I did that a couple times. But no, the guy about who sold out his son.
Oh, that, yeah.
Yeah.
You were not having a good day to begin with, and then there was that. If I remember correctly, I think we booked it out of there
Yeah.
pretty soon afterwards.
Alloys, I don't know what your genes are, but I will say that if your genes don't agree with cardio very well, for some reason I've noticed powerlifters tend to have those builds tend to lend themselves to muscle mass.
Well, yeah, that and muscle eats calories. So,
Yeah.
it actually takes calories to maintain that muscle. So, that helps somewhat. Not seeing all of the conversation, but I know for me, it was figuring out where in my day I can work in exercise. 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there. If I'm sitting at my desk and I, have a little bit of free time, I pull out some weights and just, do curls.
Yeah.
Little things.
Actually, yeah, if you've got one of those office jobs or a cubicle job,
Mhm.
it is amazing how much you can achieve with just having a barbell there. So while you're working on the phone or
Yeah, you're sitting on the phone or you're waiting for something to happen. Just find little ways to to work in movement. I have actually, if I know that there is a set of stairs, unless I'm in a building that's like 10 stories, 15 stories, I won't take the elevator. I'll take the stairs.
oh yeah, the same thing with parking. We
Mhm.
won't try and get close to we always walk a distance.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. It is not parking close.
Parking in California can be a bitch. So, walking a mile isn't a big deal.
Yeah.
Seriously, you might have to if you want to park in LA.
Mm-hmm. And and little by little, you'll find that as you become more comfortable with how to work in cardio or weights or whatever, you'll find ways to do it, and you'll find what works best for you. I want to get super strong so I can go around saying, "Bitch, you're just jealous of my Super Saiyan swagger." Fuck yeah.
Well, I will say that apparently building muscle mass,
Mhm.
because it ups a woman's testosterone,
Mhm.
they tend to get more arrogant
Yeah, they do.
and they tend to develop that male habit of not giving a fuck what people think,
Mhm. No, that's very true.
unless they're crazy.
Mhm.
And then that just makes them worse.
Yeah. But sometimes it actually helps to make them less crazy. So it's kind of, you take your chance on that. Mario, my quads are enormous now, even though the rest of me is couch potato.
Wow. We see a lot of that around here. A
Mhm.
lot of the working class men have those gigantic beer guts, but their arms and legs are just like
Yeah.
fucking like sides of beef.
Well, they don't forget leg day, but then they go and work out at the bar.
Yeah. They work construction all day.
Yeah.
Dude, you're that ripped. How can you be fat? It's like,
Mhm.
oh, you like barbecue and beer.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see.
Eloise, I think I'm going to ask to do the hangers more. That's a full-on workout. Everyone hates hanging the hangers.
I'm not sure what that is.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a comment to something.
No, it said to me. So
No, I mean something from earlier that we missed.
And Owen says he's slowly getting back to his Beetle Blaze project, been putting it. Yeah, it's actually very difficult to stick to your projects during the holiday.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to focus on much of anything during the holidays.
Well, it's hard to focus because of, usually personal lives, everybody getting ready for the holidays. And then with a lot of jobs, and it doesn't matter what sector of the workforce you're in, people are going to be dropping out because they're going on vacation. So you have to fill in their spots, or, other things are happening. Sometimes volume of work skyrockets. So yeah, no, it's completely understandable.
I will agree with this comment, Catherine. And you know what? Especially if you're a stressed out person, it like really, really, really helps.
Mm-hmm. There's one thing that I miss and that is I used to be able to walk 3.5 miles every day on my lunch period. And I really miss that. I crave that now. Now, luckily, with my new schedule, I can do that in the mornings, which is great. But that was a great way for me to have kind of a palate cleanser in the middle of the workday, where it's like I'm starting to get to the point where I'm wanting to kill people, and then I go for that 3-mile walk, and it's like, you know what, I can make it through another 4 hours, and I won't be on cops.
Well, come on. There's a little bit more back then.
Yeah.
First off, you had the nice San Diego weather,
Mhm.
which is like almost perfect year round.
Yeah, but you have to understand, I was the psycho who would be out there while it was raining walking. I would also be the one walking when it was 95, 100
Hey,
degrees
I'm not
out.
done yet.
Okay.
I'm not done yet.
Okay. Just rain or shine, I was out there walking.
No, you'd get away from the office, which was like this huge hormonal hellhole
Mm-hmm.
of women in unhappy marriages
Yes.
who hated their husbands
Yes.
and were catty bitches to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'd get out and just walk that 3 miles, and you'd have nobody, everyone would give you compliments, and you'd have cars slowing down and people coming to the window and watching you bounce by.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not making this up.
No, he's not.
And it's like that was like an ego boost, and like
Yeah.
it's like, wow, everyone's being nice to me.
The mailmen and the UPS guys, they all knew me.
And like, gee, yes.
Yeah. They say hi. Actually, there was
The Mormons said hi. The 2 Mormons on bicycles always wanted to say hi.
Yep. Actually, the mail guy, he gave me a Christmas present the last 2 weeks we were there. That was very sweet of him.
That is.
I wish I could remember his name. I'm terrible, but oh well. I'm bad with names just in general.
So Wolf's been finalizing his Sybil design.
Nice.
Now she has body scarring.
Which is always hot.
And he promised you more Sybil.
Yes. Must see more Sybil and more of Sybil.
Does Sybil have fur and an animal head?
Yeah.
Not interested.
But she's cute.
I just can't go there. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Just can't.
It's okay.
I mean, I'm reading a book right now where one of the characters has some cat genetics, which equates to some cat-like instincts, cat-slit eyes, and calico hair. And even that, for something about it, just creeps me out. And he looks totally human otherwise, and it's still just something about that.
Really?
Yeah.
So if he was born a human who then modded himself to have the slit pupils and the hair, you'd be okay with that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's the Dr. Moreau aspect of it.
See, okay, I'm gonna be totally honest. I'm actually getting annoyed with people using the term Dr. Moreau in that fashion.
I know.
Dr. Moreau is violently uplifting something, not the other way around.
Well, these were humans that had animal genes added to them in the womb.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
A lot of people like to use Dr. Moreau for, adding animal elements to humans. And no, it's violently uplifting animals.
Actually, the character can't reproduce. That is correct.
Yeah, you know what? I brought that up too. I wanted to know if he was really a calico. So.
Hey, good for you, Prometheus. Or not Prometheus, Jesus, Bromando. Prometheus hasn't come by in a long ass time.
No. But hey, that's very good of you, man. Rick, is this cat person afraid of cucumbers?
I think I'm missing something.
Did you have a cat that was afraid of cucumbers? I have never had a cat afraid of cucumbers.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Wolf.
Or is that a euphemism?
But you can have all the wolf ladies. The wolf ladies all belong to you. You get the honeys. That's fine. They're all for you.
You like your kitty.
I like the boob goddess. Okay.
Catherine says there are videos online of cats being afraid of cucumbers for some reason. I have never heard of that. That is an odd one for me. Okay. I was wondering if if that was a euphemism.
He says he's
afraid
just
of cucumbers.
he says he's just teasing the gray alien.
Oh, okay.
Cats being afraid. No, the ones you watch are cats attacking infants.
Yeah, cats attacking infants. Cats attacking all sorts of things, and being really scared of things, which is hilarious.
Okay.
Actually, anyway. Aloise, you mentioned being physically active at work helps get in shape. So the most physically active job at my new retail job is hanging the empty hangers from behind the register. Ah, okay. Got it.
And you know what? That probably gets you away from people.
Which is nice.
I mean, I'll be upfront with you. When I worked at Kinko's Copies, I worked night shift, and I even volunteered to clean bathrooms so that I didn't have to deal with people. So I understand. I'm with you there.
Okay. If you are working retail, you're probably on your feet a lot, which sucks.
Oh, wait a minute. You're working retail in a clothing store. I'm so sorry right now.
Yes. This is gonna sound weird. Do the bit of stand on one foot and doing kind of a back kick, and you go back and forth like that while you're waiting for something to happen. No, I'm not kidding. It helps, and it also takes pressure off of your feet.
Oh, okay.
So you get a little bit of cardio doing that, and it takes pressure off of your feet, and also helps your back.
Oh.
So especially if the floor that you're standing on sucks ass, like if it's concrete, or if it's not concrete and it moves slightly every time people walk by, like when you're in a mall. I have experience with both.
So what'd you do today?
I went shopping today. I went shopping for Christmas stuff today.
What else?
Then I took you shopping for Christmas stuff, and we got a festive taxidermy head for our tree. Actually, we got 2 of them. Because nothing says Christmas like a like a decapitated deer head for
reindeer
your tree.
head, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a miniature.
It's a miniature, but still, it's got little fluffies around the the decapitation line.
Wolf says that his job puts him around a lot of servicemen and women. They brought family, not a bad thing. Just means more people to meet before they depart. Well, though, I think that the thing is you're so sociable anyways. I couldn't imagine you ever really having social anxiety. I mean, you're more like when you start talking, your personality's so large, it's kind of like a hurricane coming through.
Well, even those who are really good at it can have social anxiety. I mean, I get that way, I'm just on the phones. But even when I was doing retail, I'd get that. And, fake it till you make it was the way you lived, That's where I learned, if you're smiling, it does something to your brain that tells your brain you should act a certain way. So yes, putting that mask on of smiling.
I always got fired.
It works.
I always got fired.
Well,
I mean, always got fired in those kind of jobs.
Well, you don't play the game.
Yeah, I know. I'm not very good at it.
You don't, you never learned the fine art of saying, well, isn't that nice, instead of bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, the pool supplies place was the only place I never got fired from.
But they kind of were okay if you told the customers that they were morons.
Yeah, they were okay with that. And really, I was a set of arms. My job was to lift drums of chlorine and carry them to cars. So,
which you really shouldn't have been doing. But anyway.
Yeah, we won't go into that.
But anyway, Wolf, Aish, you flatter me. Catherine, I'm an introvert who is great at pretending to be an extrovert. I'm thinking a lot of people in this chat are the same way. I think so too. I think we've all, a good amount of us have learned how to, hide it as much as possible, or at least to fake it. It's kind of a, survival technique. Hi.
How you doing?
Iron Cast Night. I really don't do well in social situations either, which is why I chose to be a machinist. Working alone all day, making shit from carbon fibers and titanium is good, quiet working. I envy your job, sir. I wanted to do that kind of stuff too, but I found that I had a horrible reaction to the fumes.
Yeah, long legs, Larry. I think I would have probably gotten further as a comics professional when we were at companies if I were a kiss ass and good at it, and I wasn't. The only person I ever got along with was Mike Martz,
Yeah.
and he was the only guy that I felt confident. Of course, I respected it.
Well, you respected him, and he had a job to do, and he wanted to get it done in the most efficient way possible. He wasn't there to, kiss hands and shake babies.
Yeah. Introvert, extrovert. I'm Batman. Oh, he's an introvert. He's definitely an introvert.
Yeah.
Okay, give us a topic, any topic. I'm trying to get Kat to be perverse, but I think she's just too relaxed. You're not looking. She's not been. I told her not to drink a shot. I'm beginning to wonder if maybe she does need to drink a shot
I
to
was just thinking just one to get me to loosen up.
shaking the
little bit.
babies. Exactly.
Yes. Yes, kiss hands and shake babies.
But yeah, or what are you guys doing for your Christmas?
I cannot find a duck for our Christmas.
Why do you want a duck?
I wanted to cook a duck for Christmas.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like
No, not your video.
no, I thought you meant like a tree ornament.
No, I wanted to cook a duck for our Christmas dinner. But I can't for the life of me find a duck. And it's not because people don't sell them, it's that they sold out. I'm kind of shocked. The only place I haven't tried is the Chinese market, but that's because there's no way in hell I'm driving in that parking lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's lethal right now.
Yeah, that's no, not doing that.
Okay, Kat, we got a question from Bar One.
Okay. What is your most overrated or played Christmas song and your most underrated? You mean like that we've been hearing or that we like? In general, was it last year I gave you my heart, but the next day you gave it away? It's like all the iterations of that are not sung by a dude. That song must be sung by a dude in order for the right sentiment. Otherwise, you're a silly whore.
That and the fact that George Michael was gay, so
yeah. Well, you hear actual George Michael. I've heard some other covers where it's a dude singing it, and I was okay with it. But, when it's George Michael singing it, it's actually very tragic. But every time I hear some chick singing it, especially when it's like, well, last Christmas I gave you my heart.
shit. Yeah. Okay.
Where they're
Damn.
just way too happy about it. It's just, no, you sound like a whore. You're just giving it up for everybody, aren't you?
I would say for me, the most overplayed song right now is Jingle Bell Rock, especially on ukulele.
Is that because of
yes,
Saturday?
Yeah. No, just hearing a guy give a ukulele lesson to a bunch of hippies and lesbian couples,
just
all playing along with him with their ukulele. It was like, I never really liked the song anyway, but
yeah.
And it was the whole time we were there, he was teaching them how to play it.
Mm-hmm. It was bad. Yeah,
everyone's kind of agreeing that Wham's Last Christmas is being overplayed to death right now.
Yeah. Underrated. I love Carol of the Bells. Carol of the Bells is my favorite, and I don't hear it much. So
let's see. I would have to say that the stuff that came out of the Renaissance, most of that was really good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the names of them right now. I mean, I think some of the versions, I mean, this isn't Renaissance, but God Rest Thee Merry Gentlemen, some of those versions of that are very good.
Mm-hmm.
I always like to, yeah, I know you're expecting something like,
Oh Holy Night is a great one. I'm trying to remember the Christmas version of it, but Greensleeves. What's the Christmas version of the Christmas lyrics for that song?
something about Santa Claus and elves and shit. I don't.
No, it's about Christ.
No, I've heard one about Santa Claus.
Really?
Yeah.
To the tune of Greensleeves?
Yes.
Really?
Of course, maybe they just replaced Jesus with Santa Claus to be less offensive.
Although the reason why I say "Oh Holy Night" is because I liked "Oh Holy Night" before anyway, but my mom bought a book that's called Catmas Carols, and it's cat themed.
Oh, is this the meow meow meow?
No. I did own that actually. I actually did own the Catmas Carols CD.
You're a damaged person.
Yes, I am. And the reason why I bought it was because I'm in the middle of class, and I went to a private school, a Lutheran school. And for some reason, they decided that we didn't need no book learning. We needed to make ornaments instead for an entire week. And while we were making ornaments during English class, the teacher put on that Christmas songs sung by cats, and it was completely out of nowhere. I'd never heard it before, and I literally fell out of my chair laughing. And it's like, okay, if this is something that makes me this happy, because I was a deeply depressed child to the point where a year later I had my first bipolar mania, and it was violent. At school, no less. But I figured anything that made me laugh that much, I needed in my life. So I purchased it. I sold it 2 years later. So, but no, Oh Holy Night, they changed the lyrics to, put me down, please. I need to see the turkey. Oh, sight divine.
What?
That's the Meowie Christmas lyrics.
I think we've just found a new Christmas classic.
What is this? Angels We Have Heard on High?
No.
You just typed that in. That's what I was asking. Well, there's the Tom Lehrer.
Claus.
Oh, that, yes.
By Psycho Stick.
Yes.
That was pretty good.
That was very cool.
Now, I was trying to see. I really like, when done correctly, Angels We Have Heard on High. Okay, 1862.
Okay. So that's Victorian.
Yeah, Victorian, post-Renaissance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some of the really
very
good, really good. Yeah, Victorian.
Mm-hmm.
Choral versions of that are just amazing. I think we don't hear enough of that.
Mm-mm. Well, a lot of the carols that we know now actually came out of the Victorian era.
Yeah, and they were all so good. And I don't know. Jingle Bells, I get it. And I saw Mom kissing Santa Claus because Dad was drunk when he had a limp dick.
I thought he was at the war.
Yeah, my dad was at war, so Mom banged Santa Claus.
Yeah. AKA the grocer.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, the really, really poppy commercial jingle songs that we hear that came out of the 50s and 60s. I don't really. They sound like commercials when I was a kid.
Well,
and I've got to say, I would love it if we went back to playing a lot of those Victorian classics, because again, they're beautiful. They are works of art, and I know that everyone's strayed away from them because every single one of them's about Jesus, but it's Christmas.
Here We Come a Wassailing. That's not Jesus. That's about going door to door begging for alcohol.
That's not a choir song.
No.
That's a drunken. That is a drunken.
Oh, so you're talking specifically the ones that choirs would sing.
Oh yeah,
okay.
The Victorian choirs were just fucking amazing.
Oh, okay. Well, a lot of those songs were also made to be sung going door to door.
Well, Here We Go A-Wassailing is essentially a bar tune.
Yeah.
That is a drunken bar song. And yes, I do like it, but that does not count.
But it's also older than Victorian, I believe.
Yeah, that's because it stayed because it was about going out and getting smashed.
I believe it's actually from the Tudor era.
Well, as you told me, it was about, hey, let's everyone go to the Lord's house because he has to be gracious and get us hammered
Yeah.
if we sing to him. That's what the song's about.
Pretty much, yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Yep, we'll sing you praises and you give us beer.
I thought it was spiced wine.
Well, depends on the era, but actually wassail, there are many different recipes of wassail. But the one from the Tudor era involved beer.
Let's see, there we go. You know, Catherine, I'll read it first.
Most of those commercial Christmas songs were written by non-Christians in order to steer Christmas away from Christ.
You know, I didn't want to say it because I can't confirm that, but I always got the sense that they were written to be more commercial rather than Christmas, as in, well, come on. It is a religious celebration. I will repeat over and over again. I'm a gray alien from Zeta Reticula. I'm an atheist, but I want Christmas to be about Christmas.
Doesn't Zeta Reticula know it's Christmas?
No, we don't. No, we don't.
For those of you youngins, I'm referencing a song from the
80s. Live Aid.
Live Aid, yeah.
Or was it World? I forget which one. It was honest. It wasn't a great song, but it was fucking honest.
It was honest.
And it was a great gesture of the 80s and the new wave scene. And then the one that came after that with all the megastars with Sting and Michael Jackson was whatever. That was just cashing in.
Yeah. No, it was you knew it was heartfelt when Cyndi Lauper was involved.
Yeah. Oh, she was the conductor.
Yeah.
She conducted that. And helped write it, I think.
I think she did too. JW, I grew up with French Christmas Carol, so they're the ones that stick with me. I'm so going to slaughter this. You'll have to forgive me. It's been years since I spoke French. Il est né le divin l'enfant. Is that correct? Enfant. So I've totally slaughtered that. I do apologize.
Merry Christmas, Santa. I wish you'd bring me a beer. Merry Christmas. Punk rock Christmas.
I remember that.
Now bring me a fucking beer.
Yep.
Of course, then there's the Ramones. Merry Christmas, honey. I don't want to fight tonight.
Yeah. Weird Al's Christmas at Ground Zero.
That was pretty grim.
Yeah. You actually banned me from playing it around you.
Yeah. It's funny, but I got to the point where Al kind of started getting on my nerves.
No, this was the first year we were dating. And I'm like, have you heard this song? And you said no. And you didn't even let me finish playing it. You banned me.
I'd heard it plenty of times, and I'd seen the video plenty of times. I just didn't realize what it was called, Ground Zero. No, I think at that time, we were really hitting the height. And again, it's strange coming from an atheist. But I'm going to say, Weird Al, another Jewish person taking a shit on Christmas, I didn't like it. I was getting so sick of, okay, I get it. When the punks did it in the 70s, Merry Christmas, Santa, bring me a fucking beer, it was funny because it was irreverent. But by the 2000 or the aughts,
But that song was written in
the 80s. I know it was written in the 80s and when it was relevant because we were all afraid of the fucking bomb.
Yeah.
But by that point, it's like, I just want to enjoy Christmas. I don't really.
You could have just told me that you didn't want it because of that reason.
Oh, okay. But yeah,
I just figured, now your commentary on that with the night Santa went crazy, I think is totally valid.
Yeah.
I say to the man who made a Kris Kringle who slaughtered a bunch of people, and that's sitting on our coffee table.
True, but he's in the spirit still.
He is in the spirit.
Those were just the bad kids.
That is true.
He got out his Christmas scythe and he had sharpened.
Everyone needs a Christmas scythe.
Yes. What was the movie, Kringle?
Or
Fat Man.
Fat Man.
There you go.
Fat Man.
Yeah, there you go. The Pogues Christmas. That's all about getting hammered.
You know, I originally read that as the Porgs and thinking, yeah, I hate those things.
The Pogues. That was more of a late 80s through the early 90s phenomena. They came from Ireland, I believe.
I bet if I was exposed to it.
He
again,
real heavy brogue.
Oh, okay.
No, I think you should say spicy stuff. Why? Oh, here.
Fizz, why does Christ matter in regards to Christmas? Jesus wasn't even born on December 25th. That's not the point.
Yes. Fizz Chozo once again has to take the piss out of everything.
It's like, that's not the point, dude.
Come on. I will say this as a writer. Okay? I will say this as a writer. The point is the story and the concept.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's related originally. It was placed over the Yule, the renewal celebration.
Mm-hmm.
But it was replaced with a story, a unifying story of essentially redemption. I mean, the idea of the story is, as put in God Rest Thee, Merry Gentlemen,
Mm-hmm.
it's about that time of redemption. Anyone can be redeemed. Anyone can start over.
Well,
anyone can be forgiven.
You know, it's the birth of a new beginning. You know.
Yeah, and the Christ story, whether you take it as a vitally important and beautiful myth, as I do, or whether you truly believe in Christ, it's a part of who we are as a people and a nation. And it's been a large part of Western culture. Oh, God. Forever. And this idea of trying to remove the Christian elements from our culture has been nothing but damaging. And again, this is coming from an atheist. Christmas was once a time where, there was always the commercial cash in. That was always there.
No, it was not. It was not always there.
Okay, it wasn't always there. As a child of the 80s, it was always there.
For everyone who's alive today on this planet, it's been there forever.
But there was also the idea that you got your loved ones together at the end of the year, and you shared your, I guess, your blessings with them, your prosperity with those around you. That was the gift giving and the sharing of the food and bringing the family together. And the fact that, again, as an atheist, it didn't. I was still welcome. Nobody ever fucking booted me out because I decided, hey, I'm gonna spend Christmas with you guys. I'm gonna decorate your tree. I'm gonna.
Well, it's also
participate in the ritual of it.
It's also a time of year where things are starting to get harsher. You know, the weather is getting colder, crops are dying, things like that. And we as humans are supposed to take this time to reflect upon the things that we do have and to also try to be nice to everyone. And with that said, express a Christian-like mentality. Now, if you're not Christian, then it's not going to be Christian.
Well, charity was always supposed to be a part of it.
But yeah, you're supposed to be charitable. You're supposed to be nice. You're supposed to help one another. It was a time to remember, brotherly love. And yes, in a Western world, why? Well, it's because this is the time of year that, our Lord and Savior is born. And as such, we should celebrate that by being as nice to everybody as we can possibly be. It's supposed to have a nice sentiment, and you don't have to believe in Christ to, at least have, that sense of being, nice to your fellow man and charity and just trying to be the best person you can be.
I mean, if you're thinking metaphorically, and not regarding it as a actual miracle or supernatural event or divine event, the story itself has endured for millennia. And that in itself, the stories become, in a sense, immortal and more real than whatever really happened 2,000 years ago.
He's like, yeah, he was.
It's more real than what happened 2,000 years ago.
History says he was born in July or June or July, but you know what? That doesn't matter as far as what it's supposed to symbolize.
Hey, you know what? The spirits really don't come out at Halloween, but we're not going to not celebrate it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, they'd get pissed.
Yeah. We're not warding off the spirits. The realm between the netherworld and the mortal world is not thin during during Halloween, but we still dress up and have a good fucking time and engage in a pagan celebration.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of our goddamn culture.
And a lot of things that we do with Christmas is very pagan, like putting a dead tree in your house. You know, that's very pagan.
Macking on a woman under a piece of mistletoe.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, Fizz here, being the ever contrarian killjoy, will you read?
I think Coca-Cola has been more important to Christmas than the church. Dude, are you just saying this stuff just to, try to stir shit up? Because if so, that's actually kind of a low dig. And what I mean by that, it's like, that's lazy.
You could try a bit harder.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if you want points as an edgy boy, try harder. I mean, make a Hitler comparison or something. I don't know.
What that Hitler had more an effect than Coca-Cola?
Yeah, probably did. I mean, and you can go through the music and of that era, and there are songs that chronicle who we were at different points.
Mm-hmm.
All the songs that were written during the wars or the Depression.
God.
I mean, they're depressing as hell, but
yeah, I'll Be Home for Christmas. Once I found out when that was written, I can't hear it without crying now. Quite frankly.
Or the fact that I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day is about the Civil War. The point of that song is about the fact that I forget the name of the man who wrote it, American poet.
Yeah.
Had lost his entire family either to either sickness or war. Both had, his sons had died at the war. He'd lost his wife. He was at the edge of his rope. And he's feeling bleak, and he hears the bells, and he realizes, despite all this chaos, we are still coming together for this holiday.
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote that believing we'll get through it.
That's amazing. And it's a beautiful sentiment. Alois. Well, the traditions and celebration now known as Christmas are actually Yule celebration customs. Christ was born in spring, and he never observed Yule customs in winter. That is very true. He did not. He was a desert people.
Look, I don't know. Maybe if you're a Christian essentialist or, I don't know, what is it, a Coptic? The ones who want to, was Arimathea or
Joseph of Arimathea?
No, there's the version of Christianity that's trying to be pure.
Oh, Aramaic?
Aramaic, yeah. I mean, unless you're that, I mean, it's like, who the fuck cares?
No, that's not the point.
Yeah, I mean, if if it's that much of a thing for you, for your for your religion, okay, more power to you. Go celebrate it in July. Be a
Also, as far as things that we do now are more Yule. Now, I agree, they are more Yule. But the funny thing is that a lot of stuff that we do now is either the Victorians capitalizing on all this new innovation and figuring out commerce and merchandising for the holiday. Second, Christmas trees specifically. This I find interesting. Christmas trees were started by a German who immigrated here to the United States and put it up in his house. And all the other Germans in his town were doing the same thing because that was their tradition, the Tannenbaum. And it, became very popular here and then became popular in England. I find that very interesting. And it was not until to go back to Fizz, it was not until Coca-Cola that we had a united vision of Santa Claus.
And it's an American vision.
And it is an American vision because in England they have Father Christmas or Kris Kringle, depending on what you want to call him.
But even still, again, that is a part of who we are as a culture.
Mm-hmm.
why piss on it? Seriously, it has endured for so long for a reason. It has brought people together. We've enjoyed it. And this continual need to somehow bitch about it, be it people who want to basically turn Christmas into happy, Hanukkah,
Christmas Hanukkah.
yeah, you want to make it this drab, meaningless postmodern bullshit, or if it's some sort of a Christian purist who wants to suck all the joy out of it, which we had plenty of in the 80s. No, I see it as this is how Americans do it. This is us. And fuck anyone who wants to take that from us and rob our culture from us. I will notice something too, is you notice the people who are always bitching the most about Christmas being consumerist are the people selling you shit. Seriously.
Yeah.
The people, we'll just say non-Christians who point the finger at saying it's really just about greed and consumerism are the people selling us the shit. Just saying.
Trenton, hey Trenton, you sir have some. Santa came early and dropped some things off under our tree.
Yeah, left a real mess when he came.
Yeah.
Dirty old man. Came all over the floor.
That's what all the snow is. Trenton, I need to find the link to a blog Dave Lilly wrote about Saint Nicholas being the first vampire. Well researched and funny as hell. That's what I think it is. I remember it being very entertaining.
He sucks the blood out of cookies and milk.
No, Saint Nicholas.
Yeah.
Rick, there are scary Santas out there. Belsnickel, Hans Trapp, Krampus. My grandpa fears Rupert.
I actually like the fact that Krampus has kind of been integrated into it, the demon who punishes bad kids.
Yeah.
So why not?
I love it. I mean, it's funny. I had never heard of Krampus until the aughts, but before that, I knew his human counterpart, which was was it Black Tom?
The Black Peter.
Black Peter. Thank you.
And then it became the name of a big cocked porn star, and it kind of ruined everything. Starring Black Peter.
And his switch.
Yeah, and his switch. Yeah. Anyway.
Owen, what are your thoughts on Christmas-themed horror movies like Silent Night, Deadly Night, which is awesome, and Black Christmas, which is also awesome?
Silent Night, Deadly Night, I've never seen. If that's the one with the axe-wielding Santa, I've never seen it. I can't say. Black Christmas is a classic. In fact, I think that it's one of those films that's overlooked, and because Halloween was given so much credit as spawning the slasher genre, that people forgot this film was made first. And look, I'm a massive John Carpenter fan. I think Black Christmas is a better movie.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, I'm okay. As much as I enjoy Halloween, it almost borders on padding the movie at times, where Black Christmas, I'm sorry, there's no wasted time. And the cast is just impeccable. What are you reading? Ironcast Knight. I'm gay and I doubt I have the F word pass on ye old YouTubers. Huh?
I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah. 12D. Fizz is a Muslim, so you are talking to a deaf person.
Oh, is that Fizz's problem? He's just Muslim. Okay. Well, look, I'm sorry you're not celebrating the holiday and exchanging gifts and drinking nog and getting plowed with the rest of us as you gather around the tree and kiss each other under our mistletoe and then open gifts. So, who knows? Maybe some nice celebrating Christian will give you a transformer under the tree next year.
Acid trip. I like Christmas, but this month is always the worst for me. Bronchitis, COVID, typhoid. Oh, fuck.
Dude, what the fuck happened to you?
And now a staph infection. Can I go one Christmas without being sick? Holy fuck. Dude, can I give you a new immune system? I'm so sorry, dude. Typhoid. Oh my god. I love modern medicine. No, I'm serious. I'm glad we have modern medicine, that you're still with us because of that. Fuck.
Okay, let's see. He says that although he's a Muslim, it doesn't make him an idiot. Well, next time you were engaging in religion, do you want me to talk about how you're just, what was it? Muhammad didn't ride off to heaven on a double rainbow. It was a motorcycle, actually, and I don't know. Whatever. I don't really give a shit. Nitpickers who just bitch like that. It's like, dude, get over it. Have a good time. It's fucking Christmas. We have enough shit deal with all year. So you know what? Kick back. You know what? Have a beer.
No, you know what we're having?
What are we having?
I am not kidding you. We are having ham.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
It's sitting in the freezer right now because I couldn't find a duck. So I bought ham instead. Catherine, not blaming the juices for stealing Christmas, but pointing out that they're happy to exploit it.
No, I was really getting sick of the the tree needs to be removed from the mall petitions.
Yeah.
In California and every fucking county. And
they did remove them, but they put up in the Nora.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I never really saw the issue of why we just can't all just celebrate and shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just have fun. I'm saying this half joking. Why can't we be like the Japanese? They go all in for Christmas. It's not a Christian holiday for them. It's not at all. They are full into celebrating the season and the spirit and the gift giving
and Kentucky Fried Chicken, motherfucker.
Tons of Kentucky Fried Chicken. Oh my God.
For the Japanese, it was about the day that a young Colonel Sanders was born in a manger.
Colonel Christmas there.
Where then God gifted him with the blessing of the special herbs and spices.
Exactly. For those who don't know, we're not joking. they have confused Santa Claus with Colonel Sanders over there, and you have to reserve your fried chicken in August to have it ready for next Saturday over there. But I mean, they go all out for Christmas. Decorations everywhere. Everyone, telling each other, Merry Christmas. It's huge. And it's not a religious holiday in any way, shape, or form.
Well, except for the 10% of Catholics there.
Well, the 10% of Catholics. And I guess that one town that says that Jesus is buried there.
He really died in that small prefecture.
Yeah.
Explain that. I'll be...
Okay. Oh, you'll be right back?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a prefecture in Japan where they firmly 100% believe that Jesus did not actually die on the cross, but his brother died in his place so that he could continue his ministries, and he fled the Romans and made his way to Japan, where he set up a ministry there. He got married, he had kids, and he died there. And so on top of this hill, there are 2 crucifixes. One is supposedly the real tomb of Christ, and the other is a memorial to his brother who died in his place. And apparently Jesus took with him an ear from his brother, and so that ear is supposedly buried there. Whatever, I don't know. It seems kind of fun, and I want to go visit just to see it because it's interesting. Although from what I've heard, the people from that prefecture swear that they are all the descendants of Christ, and apparently they do look more Western than everyone else on the island nation. So obviously some Westerner showed up at some point and stayed there, if that's to be believed. So anyway, we're waiting for Ishi to come back. Owen, even National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation got the spirit of Christmas. Also, it's very hilarious. Yes, it is. It was hysterical. I had never seen it until last year when Ishi showed it to me. So, very, very funny movie. So, anyway. I heard Ishi pop open a monster. So, he's getting serious here. Let's see here. I think I am going to wait till Ishi comes back in order to continue going over these questions, because I think they would be better with him. Let's see. Elias, anyone watch your boy Zach's take on Spawn Batman 2022 issue just recently? Holy crap, it broke his mind and mine, but more importantly, it broke my heart. No, I haven't. I mean, if these are current comic books, just in general, they're sad. I have no idea how sad because I have been staying as far away from them as possible. The closest that I've gotten is one of my old teachers, Eric Geist, my old art teachers. He's been doing a lot of guest covers for Marvel, and it's very, very sad because I'm seeing his artwork, and Eric is just amazing. He's an insanely good painter, and he's been doing these gorgeous covers. Like most recently, he did this one that has for X-Men with Mr. Sinister on it. And I'm looking at this cover going, damn, this makes me want to pick up this book. But I know the second I open it, I'm going to be sad and disappointed. So I won't. And it just makes it worse. So anyway. Hi. I heard you crack open a monster.
Got a problem with that?
No. Well, you didn't bring me one.
You didn't ask.
Well, I didn't know you were getting one.
Tough bananas? I don't know.
Your banana's not tough. It is firm.
Is it green?
Well, I thought you don't like them green.
No, I don't like them green.
It is gray, but not in the unhealthy way.
God. You terrible, terrible woman, you with the big titties.
Yes.
Go get a monster.
Okay.
Go suck on a monster.
Well, you'll do that later.
Both of them? Okay, so what is this Spawn Batman 2022 thing? I've heard nothing of it. Well, I don't know. Somebody explain it and I will comment. Why is it the families clash over politics and everything else at Thanksgiving, but not Christmas? Well, I don't really know about why. I mean, I know that lefties and liberals love to shit on Thanksgiving is part of it. But I do know for a fact that since the aughts, liberal publications have been encouraging families start shit around the table, telling their readers to start shit and here are the talking points to say. So I think it has something to do with that. I mean, it's always been a part of it, I guess. But then again, I also think maybe possibly because where Thanksgiving often seems to be you get everyone in the family together. Christmas, usually you have your own little personal event at home, and then you might meet with the rest of the family later that day, possibly as part of it. And then there's the large part of it is about watching the kids have fun. I mean, there's kind of a fun satisfaction in the with the kids and the gifts, because kids go berserk. And do you really want to fight about politics? As kids are screaming their heads off over I don't know what kids play with anymore. Yeah, over Lego dinosaurs. I don't know. So that might be part of it. Also, I would say, well, you're giving gifts to your family members. Do you really want to start a political fight? Celebrate Christmas right, rescue women from prostitution, and beat your local heretic. Are you talking about the Kirk Cameron explanation of Saint Nick? God, that video is bizarre. Putting a dead tree in your house isn't pagan. It's Saint Boniface killed the pagan tree, and before that, you put a dead person in a living tree. Yeah, that is true, that part. I don't know about the St. Boniface part. I don't doubt you. It's probably true. But, people held on to their traditions hard. I mean, I don't know about now, but for a great, great deal of time, at least up until the 60s and 70s, generally, your average rural Irish person were hardcore Catholic, but still paid tribute to the fairies because they didn't want to upset them.
And they still do that.
Let's see. Going through these. Fizz, I'll just say that if you don't get it, you don't understand. It's about the metaphor and the symbolism of what the holiday is. For me. I think in general.
Well, the Japanese don't celebrate Christ because they're not Christians.
But they're quite happy to use the metaphor constantly in their own media.
No, that's true.
The metaphor of angels and Christ's sacrifice is a repeating theme in a lot of anime and a lot of manga.
Yeah, but the same could be said about Greek myths.
Yeah.
For us.
Well, and for them, yeah.
Yeah.
No, and that is one of the reasons it's important.
I agree.
I mean, well, okay, Mamoru Oshii's different. He almost became a Jesuit until he realized the Jesuits are a bunch of corrupt dicks.
No, let me just say, my point is they celebrate the spirit of Christmas, but no, they don't have Christ in Christmas because they're not Christians. Christians are not happy that here in the Western world, people are trying to take Christ out of Christmas. They have a point.
Fizz, I would disagree with that. I'd say most Japanese aren't necessarily atheists, but rather animist.
Yeah.
And that the world they believe in, God, Kame, the gods, exist in a more, again, metaphorical sense, and it's more like the Force, really. Kame inhabits all things, including people, and the idea is to be in order and in emotion with the Kame.
Well, also, there's a time and a place for everything, but you want to see something, Google where all the shrines are in Japan. Your map will blow up. And those aren't necessarily ancient shrines. I mean, it's amazing how many of them have been built up in urban areas, specifically so that people have a place to go and to reflect.
Yeah. And their relationship to religion had always been different. I mean,
It's very different.
again, the native religion was Shinto, which is a religion with and without gods, which is kind of strange.
They're not gods in the way that we think of them.
They're gods in the way that kaiju and what is it? Junji Ito put it.
Yeah.
Seriously, you look throughout their horror.
Well, they're born out of the human need to have something personified.
Right. And the fact that there's still rituals held out for that, the idea that if a doll's given too much love and attention, that it takes on its own essence of the kame, and therefore must also be given a proper burial rite, or how do they do it? Do they burn them, or they give them to that?
You either give them to the shrine, or you need to you thank it for its service,
Right.
and then you destroy it.
And the fact that they don't say grace, they say thank you for being food.
Yes.
That's very animist.
Or the fact that if you, like, say you had a broom and the broom broke, or for one reason or another you find it is lacking in its job as a broom, you have to thank it for being your broom, and before you throw it away, otherwise it will come back and haunt you.
That's animism.
Yeah.
Through and through. It is a different relationship and way of looking at the world in a lot of ways. I mean, some of it's weird superstitions, but it makes sense, and it definitely satiates the magical thinking part of the human mind, which does need to be fed. I mean, even
we crave ritual.
Yeah, there's a part of our mind that thinks symbolically that needs to be regarded. And I would say right now, one of our biggest problems as a culture is we've neglected it. With the whole socialist, postmodern, they're always bitching about materialism, but communists and postmodernists, it's all about material and nothing else, which is kind of, so yeah, there's a real deficit in terms of symbolic thinking, the metaphors, the dream logic, and it's look at the damage it's caused. Tuwelda, you're an Orthodox what? Just out of curiosity. I'm sorry, I don't remember. You probably already told me. Okay. Catherine's talking to Eloise, but I thought it was a fun or a good comment.
I get where you're coming from, but the older I get, the more I appreciate the symbolic truth is often much more important than literal truth.
Yeah, or the symbolic or metaphoric. Something can be metaphorically true. And I would say that while, again, I wish I did, but I don't believe in miracles, and I don't believe in the miracle of Christ or the crucifixion. I think metaphorically, metaphorically, the values and the meaning of the story is true. And that without those stories making us who we are as a people, Western society would have never happened. The Enlightenment would have never happened. The Founding Fathers would have never happened. So, and I could get into my long speech about what it was, the innovations, philosophical and moral innovations Christianity brought that changed everything. And the idea that the pagans in Ireland were force converted is kind of a modern creation. The fact of the matter is they kept the parts they liked, but the pagans were very happy to find a religion that said, yes, all of you are forgiven, or all of you can be forgiven, all of your lives matter, every one of you. You don't have to sacrifice anything physical. You don't have to kill any more animals, or do something, or do some weird sacrifice
no
to
Summer Isle Wicker Man.
to make sure your crops grow.
Yeah.
And there was a lot that Christianity offered to, I at least the Irish. I know that maybe it was different in other parts of Europe and the Isles, but in Ireland, largely the Irish people were very happy to find a religion that offered something more than what the pagan religions had given them. And they didn't really give up their pagan religion. They just ditched a lot of it. The fact that the church wanted to come in and educate them, and there was the charity was another aspect. It was a story that there was a lot that appealed to them. So this idea that they were forced by the sword isn't entirely true.
No, yes, were there some who did not want to go? Yes, but that's true all over the place. So.
Okay. In a strange way, American Xmas is a strange hybrid. Yeah, because it's extreme Christmas.
Yes.
It's extreme Christmas, man. Don't you remember the 90s where everything was extreme?
And you had Santa on his skateboard.
That, or it's the X like the X-Men. It's a mutated form of another religion.
That's more, let's face it, that's more honest there.
It's a merry band of freaks who've come together with their own views.
Well, look at Rudolph.
Oh, God. I don't like that song either. It really gets on my nerves.
But he's a mutant.
Yeah, he is. Okay, I'm going to write this down right now. This sounds great.
You should read Everybody Loves Large Chests. Okay?
The thing is, I do love large chests, but I will repeat, one of the girls, the only other girl I've ever could have married had a C cup and was exceptionally beautiful. The only reason I'm so out in front of it now is, well, one, I love my wife to death, and she has great titties.
And mine are out in front.
Well, no, you always had big tits. I didn't get real aggressive and obnoxious about it until everyone kept dumping on it, shaming the fact that a woman would be busty, and this whole idea of, oh, you've got to get them cut off, and this whole anti-breast thing.
Yeah.
Chest feeding. No, fuck you. Breasts are beautiful. And comic superheroes should have big tits, mostly. Lady Death will.
If it's
Lady Deathstrike.
Oh.
She no. But Lady Death, big monster titties, yes.
Yeah.
But Deathstrike, no.
But I would expect her to have larger than average.
Yeah.
Because she's a hero. Well,
No,
she's a comic book character, so therefore, you have to be more than.
We have a Krampus on the shelf instead of an elf on the shelf.
Yes, we do. He is presiding over the living room from where the clock is.
Yes, Gremlins, another Christmas film that no one acknowledges, just like Die Hard.
Do you want to tell them what we have?
What?
Our Advent calendar.
Oh, yeah, you tell them.
I bought for us this year an Advent calendar that is I don't remember the name of the corporation. You'll have to forgive me. I've actually only seen Die Hard once, and that was several years ago. But it's the building from Die Hard with Hans Gruber falling to his death, and each day he falls one more floor till he meets his eventual red Christmas demise at the bottom. That was one of those things where it was an impulse buy, where I saw it and I'm like, no, mine. I'm not even going to think about it.
Here,
mine.
And from Joe the Pagan here, I actually find pagan mythology just as equally fascinating, and
I do too.
I've got tons of books on it. And again, I especially, maybe it's the Irish part of it, I really, really like the Fae.
Well, I mean, getting Becca to talk about it is just.
I've never heard her talk about it.
You know, she's not.
Becca's her best friend.
Becca's my best friend, and Becca is a pagan. She is a real.
Not a Wiccan.
No, not a Wiccan. She is a pagan. She is a druid. She is definitely, a nature worshiper, and she recognizes the fact that nature will kick your ass if you're not careful. She is wonderful to talk to about the different holidays and the different rituals, because she's not fruity about it. No, it's a real religion with her, and it's wonderful. My Jewish friend finally watched your video that wants you that you hate elves. His short answer was
it was called "Do They Want Us to Hate Elves?"
Oh, do they want us to hate elves? His short answer was it was a good video, and you raised some valid points. He is still writing his long answer on it.
Oh, I'm very curious to hear it.
Yeah, so am I, actually.
Okay.
Catherine's cooking bacon. That sounds really good, actually. Owen, I know some people aren't so much a fan of dark movies taking place on Christmas, but there have always been dark Christmas stories. Just look at Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol.
But it's actually good you bring up A Christmas Carol, or my favorite modern reinterpretation, Scrooged, which is very valid. And by the way, it was directed or written together by a Jewish man and a Catholic. Mm-hmm. And they wanted to do the ultimate Christmas tale. Now, they didn't quite get what they wanted, but I think actually it was a great film. Everybody involved had different ideas of what it should be, and I think that what we got was better than any of them imagined. Mm-hmm. But if you look at Dickens' Christmas Carol, you call it dark. And to a degree it is, but it's also one, you take this character who is a materialist, greedy piece of shit, and first it gives you a reason to sympathize and realize how he could have been that way, right? And then he is shown his future. And what happens at the end? He is given a chance for redemption. There you go. That is Christmas narrative right there. Mm-hmm. Birth of Christ meant we all had a chance to once be redeemed and matter, and that anybody could be redeemed. Mm-hmm. And what happens in A Christmas Carol? Even the most greedy, miserly piece of shit could be redeemed. Mm-hmm. And I guess in embracing Christmas, aka the birth of Christ and the miracle of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and symbolically there, it's all there. And there is the metaphor of he's coming to the twilight of his life. What's December? The end of the year, the darkest portion of the year. It only gets brighter after that. The sun only stays up longer each day after December. Mm-hmm. So, it's all metaphorical. It is story. It does what it's supposed to, and that is why it's endured. And it's so much better than most of his other fucking stories. I am sorry. I know that, what was the one? Pip.
Great Expectations.
That's the one he loved, but oh God, that was like pulling teeth.
I didn't read Great Expectations, but God help me, I read all of Tale of Two Cities. And
yeah.
He got paid by the word, you say.
Yeah. And apparently it always bothered Dickens that was the one thing he was best remembered for. He didn't like the fact that was his legacy. He always thought it should be one of his other books. And it's a shame that he didn't realize the reason A Christmas Carol became a legacy is because it resonated with everybody. His other stories were stories. They were drama. But Christmas Carol touched on something else. And it's a reason just about every fucking sitcom up until Hollywood decided to just completely shit on Christmas, every sitcom would have their Christmas Carol episode. Why? because it resonated that much. And I am of the mind that even though it's cheesy that every show has done a Christmas Carol episode, for most Americans, that is their introduction to the story. So why not? It leads them to find out about the Dickens story eventually. Just like for a lot of Americans of my age, our first exposure to Shakespeare was the Gilligan's Island Hamlet episode.
It's true.
Which led me to greater exposure to Shakespeare. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Elias, Black Christmas was directed by Bob Clark, who also directed A Christmas Story. Let that sink in. He could probably do a better Christmas-themed horror movie.
So he did Black Christmas?
Yes.
Yeah, Bob Clark did Black Christmas, but also A Christmas Story. He also did Porky's.
Oh, okay.
No, Bob Clark, I think because of Porky's, got such a bad name, but now we all remember him for A Christmas Story. He was a good director, a very good director.
I highly recommend everybody track down the Gene Shepherd book, which Christmas Story was based on. Once you actually read the story, that movie takes on whole new dimensions. So
yeah, I think the church trying to stamp out a lot of things that were just deeply rooted in those cultures, it was kind of a fool's errand. People need their customs. It's one of the things that unifies us. And that's why it pisses me off that repeatedly there are those in this country with a lot of money in government trying to basically rob us of our traditions and customs. Somehow portray them as evil. Every fucking university professor. You've been to 4 Christmas parties so far? Dude, I envy you. We need more friends locally. Fuck, I wish I had gone to 4 Christmas parties.
Well, we're building that up. I mean, we're hosting a Christmas party next weekend.
Yes, we are. Bar 1, the menorah is a hate symbol. Funny, I don't know how it is, but it's funny. I think actually the story behind Hanukkah is funnier than the menorah joke, but regardless, let's. Yeah, well, no. It's easier to rip on Kwanzaa because that's even that really is a fake holiday. What? Why do you make that face every time I say it? The guy who created fucking Kwanzaa was a convict who got out and decided, hey, this Black Power thing and Black empowerment is the way to really get respect and money, and became a respected activist. The fucker raped a woman and shoved a soldering iron down her throat.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
No, it's I saw a program on what the different candles mean for Kwanzaa and just
what?
I'll just say it. It's 10 tons of let's make shit up. It's like it's hard for me to put words to it.
Well, hey, mysterious Senor Hitler's visiting.
Oh.
Kanye believes that what is it? All people have value and something to give, especially Hitler.
Well, he has the most value then. It's like how the milquetoast man children on Reddit atheism won't even mention that Judaism or Islam because those aren't evil, mean Christianity.
Yeah, that and they all suck fucking Sam Harris's dick. Fucking Sam Harris, who said, I knew he was full of shit the day that he just came out and was like, well, yeah, we should criticize Islam and Christianity. Religions are all bad, but we should leave Judaism alone because Jews are kind of special in that way. They've been especially oppressed. It's like, dude, fuck you. You know what? Tell that to everyone in Cambodia. You Trump deranged fuck.
Wow, we're like half an hour behind on reading these
comments.
Bar 1. The menorah is a hate symbol. The miracle is oil lasting 8 nights as they consecrate a temple. Why consecrate a temple? Because they murdered all the previous occupants.
Well, it's actually worse than that. I know that usually they claim that the Greeks were telling them they weren't allowed to be Jews. That's not true. That isn't true at all. The real story was, and it's in there for anyone who actually wants to actually check. The history is that there were two factions of Jews. There were the Hellenized Jews that were becoming more Greek and even were sharing Greek traditions and had become integrated into Greek society. And the other faction said, you know what? God isn't talking to us because we're becoming too Greek. Let's start killing people. And they were essentially zealot. They were religious fanatics. They were fundamentalist zealots. And they were killing the Hellenized Jews. And yeah, they murdered all of them, but they didn't have the oil to consecrate the temple, but yet somehow it had appeared. And it was the oil had to be consecrated. It couldn't be any oil. And that's supposedly the miracle. So it's like, yeah, we got in a fight with ourselves and won. Here's some candles. Well, what am I supposed to say?
I'm not saying anything.
I don't know.
I'm not saying anything.
I don't know. I really find the comparison, the fact that we're supposed to carry water for someone else's tradition and care, is like, look, it's America. We all have our traditions. We all have our pasts. Look.
There's no one people on this planet that hasn't done
Yeah,
one
well,
thing or another.
No. It's the making a big deal out of Hanukkah was strictly because they wanted something to compete with Christmas. They felt like they were being left out, as if you couldn't just go over to your friend's house and enjoy Christmas with them. But anyway, that is the only reason Hanukkah was even really made much of a holiday. But the fact that it's really about, well, a bunch of religious fanatics killed a bunch of our own people because they were integrating into the society they were living in.
Mm-hmm.
You're celebrating that? It was like what Passover? They're celebrating what is it, the firstborn?
Yeah.
Of everybody's kid getting, or the firstborn of all these families getting murdered by God.
No, not by God.
Not by God.
Not by God. By the tech. From everything that I've heard, it's the Holy Spirit. Actually.
Well, okay. Oh, wait. They don't believe in a Trinity, do they?
No, it is like it's like an agent spirit of.
Yeah, so the angel
Yahweh.
of death essentially comes down and kills all the firstborn of all the non-Jews. That's your biggest holiday? That doesn't sound like a very friendly religion to me. I mean, I don't know. Is there many Christian holidays where you're celebrating how you killed all these people, or God killed all these people for you?
None. There's our Lord was born and our Lord was murdered.
So there's no story about hey, we're going to celebrate that one day when God smited Sodom and Gomorrah.
Well, there's all of the different saints' days, and some of those saints had pretty bloody ends.
But yeah, were they?
Well, no, we don't do it anymore. But
No. Who got bloody? Was the saint sacrificed, or was this?
Well, sometimes it's the saint. Something happened to the saint. And as a result, there's a miracle where something may or may not have happened to another people.
Well, there's one thing about celebrating or honoring someone's sacrifice versus, hey, God killed a bunch of kids. Let's party.
Well, no, there's some where it's like, this person was murdered, and then the miracle is that their killers were found or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And like got drawn and quartered.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty well, but none of them are major holidays.
No, they're not anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, the big Christian holiday is our Savior's born.
Yeah, he's born and then he died.
From what I understand, the big Jewish holiday is a bunch of kids died. God killed the non-believers.
Well, yeah.
I don't know. That doesn't sound very friendly to me.
Well, I'm going to be honest. Judaism is not welcoming.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Well, you could be not welcoming and not celebrate the death of the non-believers.
Well, that it all depends on what you're putting the emphasis on. When I was a kid, I was taught that the emphasis of Passover was on Yahweh saving his people. Yes, it was. They were brought to the point where the firstborns had to be killed to make a point, to make
God was
to make Pharaoh go, okay, yeah, I get it, I'll let you go. Until I actually read the story.
Yeah.
And it kind of pissed me off because there are the I grew up with the King James Bible, and it says flat out in the King James Bible that Pharaoh many times was going to let them go, and then Yahweh hardened his heart. So Yahweh purposely made Pharaoh not let them go to ratchet things up to the point where all these kids died.
So he was making an excuse to kill the kids.
Yeah. And it's like,
God the Father is not Yahweh. I'm sorry, I don't agree with this idea.
So I legitimately, personally me, I don't know what to think about Passover after I read that. It's like, I've been witness to the Seder. I was actually invited by my in-laws to witness the Seder,
And they eat all that weird food, right?
Yeah, and as a ritual, I understand the purpose of the ritual of, life is bitter, life is harsh, life is slimy like gefilte fish, and you want to vomit, but you will leave, and it will get better, and it's you will persevere. And as a message to a people, I can get behind that, but it's some of the other stuff.
Yeah, well,
but
I kind of like trees and gift giving.
But what do I know? I was raised by a Wiccan and an atheist and sent to a Lutheran school. So
you had a well-rounded upbringing.
Yeah. So I have ideas.
Horrible.
Horrible. Got a problem with that? Ishi, channeling the living spirit of Gen X.
Yeah, kind of.
I thought the living spirit of Gen X was fuck you.
Well, that's kind of the same thing.
Acid trip. Who here thinks they could take Seth Rogen in a fight? I do. I'd put money on that.
I don't think that's much of a challenge.
I'm talking about Fight Club kind of fight. Reminder, I'm 5'4". I'd still put money on that.
That would probably be quite enjoyable to watch, in fact.
Fuck, I can take Seth Rogen.
You could take a lot of people, Kat. I've seen the rage. I have seen the rage. I know that, in general, men are still going to be stronger than you, but I have seen the rage.
Those walls don't stand a chance. Larry, strangely, I felt that the Thanksgiving bashing was lessening this year. I noticed that too. Think they're a little tuckered out?
Yeah. I think people are sick of the bitching.
Actually, I thought they were getting scared.
I do think they're getting scared too, but I think generally the average American say, get the fuck off my back. I mean, how many years have we humored every whining interest group who's pissed off that we just want to get together with our family and have dinner?
Yeah.
And be thankful for what we have. Who want to make it about Indians, even though it was never about Indians.
No.
Ever.
No, never.
And that it's actually a holiday that's celebrated by multiple countries.
Mm-hmm.
The ritual of giving thanks for what you have.
It's just called different things, or it takes place at different times.
Was it Lincoln who emphasized the tale of the Indians and the...
It was Lincoln who really popular. Okay, well, the thing is that here's the truth. That dinner with the Pilgrims, where the Indians did come and teach them, that actually did happen. And yes, they did all eat together because, well, they were Christians, and these natives were kind enough to save their asses. So yeah, let's all eat together this bountiful harvest that we have created. So yes, that really did happen.
And they were at peace for several years.
They had a treaty with that specific tribe for over 50 years.
Yeah.
So And it wasn't until basically everybody who had been involved in that had died of old age that treaty ended. But yes, the story lived on.
And so I suppose those people who formed the treaties were probably not even alive. And the people that were at that Thanksgiving probably weren't even alive when the treaty was broken.
No, they weren't. They were all dead.
Yeah.
They were all very much so dead by that point. And it was just with that one tribe. It wasn't all of the native people. It was just that one tribe.
The native people were pretty busy killing each other often.
Yeah, they were actually.
No one seems to remember that part.
And there was a lot of ins and outs and all this other stuff. And yes, the knowledge of that treaty and that the natives had helped those pilgrims and that particular spot. That's the other thing, is that there were other settlements elsewhere that were thriving and doing just fine. It was just the pilgrims on the Mayflower had the bad luck to land where they did and were getting their asses kicked as a result. They also set sail late. So just like the Donner Party, you show up late, you're going to starve in winter. It's just the natives were there to help them. But, it's the spirit of the story is what we celebrate with Thanksgiving. Again, it doesn't matter what the reality was. It's the idea, the spirit of coming together in a time of thankfulness.
Wow, we're way behind on tweets here.
Yeah.
I should probably...
Are we skipping forward?
Yeah, I mean, sorry everyone who we skipped over, but let's just shit. Wow. Okay, let's go there. I think that's manageable. Yeah.
Okay. So we are now looking at comments from our time 717, which was call it about 15 minutes ago.
Okay, so
Owen, I think my introduction to Shakespeare was Shakespeare's animated tales. They're short animated versions of Shakespeare's works. That's cool.
Oh, that actually sounds pretty cool.
That sounds really cool. Now, see, my mom loved Shakespeare, so she made sure I knew about more than just Romeo and Juliet as a young child. So, and my favorite Shakespeare's work is Richard III. That's interesting.
Some great lines in that one.
Yeah.
My favorite, I like Macbeth, and I think it's because it's actually a horror story. Nobody wants to really acknowledge that, but I can make a very good argument. It is actually a horror story.
No, I agree. It is.
It's got witches, spirits, curses, a slasher named Macbeth, an insane bloodied wife, madness. Yeah.
For me, it's a toss-up between Othello and Hamlet. Although the Anthony Hopkins Titus Andronicus is just fuck.
That is a fever dream.
That is a film. I love that film. I don't think I ever want to see it again. It is probably one of my favorite theatrical versions of a Shakespeare play, but I don't know if I ever want to see it again.
Angel of Death, the Ariel.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Creeping, yeah. Don Jack Giles, I was thinking of Creeping Death as well as I was talking about that. It's a song about.
Yeah.
It's a good song. It's back when Metallica had balls. No, seriously.
Wolf, you guys definitely should try to watch The Prince of Egypt. Religion or not, it's a captivating story. Actually, it is a very good film. I've seen it. It's a very good film. Bar one. Atheists never want to discuss Passover, really. They refuse to fedora the story. how the Israelites painting their door frames with blood was a symbol to an angel to not come in and murder the babies. Well, it wasn't a symbol to not come in and murder the babies. It was a symbol
To
of
pass over that house.
Yeah, pass over that house because the people within, worship Yahweh. And it's the whole bit of, I've sacrificed this lamb, because it was specifically you had to use lamb's blood. And so I have sacrificed this lamb. So this lamb has already died for this household. You can continue going.
Well, guess what? Bar one, feel yourself. You have now experienced hearing an atheist talk about Passover critically, even though he's from the Zeta Reticula. But yeah.
Joe, there is a Christian sect in the Middle Ages that believed Yahweh was Satan and not the most powerful God the Father in the New Testament.
And
that's a huge debate right there.
Well, there's actually quite a few.
Yeah.
There wasn't just one. And to be honest with you, again, I don't take any of this literally. From a story standpoint, that's how I take it. It just does not seem to be the same character. Yahweh is a God of the earth that actually shares traits with the jinn.
Mm-hmm.
God the Father is a cosmic being of universal significance.
Well, and with that said,
he's a universal cosmic level God,
mm-hmm.
And a creator of the universe. Yahweh is very much earthbound,
mm-hmm.
and has a lot of earth spirit traits.
Well, right down to the fact that iron hurts him.
Yeah, iron hurts him just like a demon or a fae.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he appeared as a burning bush, a column of flame,
and a column of smoke.
I mean, that sounds like, well, that's a djinn.
Yeah.
That's how the jinn or demon appeared.
Yeah.
In the desert.
Mm-hmm.
There were a few others, but yeah, the fact that Yahweh could be deceived,
mm-hmm.
could be bargained with, could be tricked. I already said that, but that's not the God, the Father of the New Testament.
Well, you read the different stories in the Bible, and I do not see God the Father in the New Testament entering into a bet with Shaitan or Satan as to whether or not one of his followers actually truly believes in him or not.
Hey, Mad Ginger.
Joe.
Yeah.
That I just can't fathom that the loving God the Father would do that.
Yeah, I thoroughly agree. It's not the same character.
Mm-mm.
I had a point and it's gone now. Van damn you to hell for doing that.
Why?
No, I don't know. Maybe I need more caffeine. I had a point on that.
Here.
No, I've got it in here.
Put my monster in your mouth.
You put your monsters in my mouth?
Yes.
I can't fit both of them in my hands.
Well, there's one for each.
Another thing was that, Yahweh, another one, difference between the God the Father character and Yahweh was that Yahweh lied.
Yeah. Yahweh lied a lot. Or God the Father.
Devil never lied. Yahweh lied.
Yeah, devil never lies.
Did the devil actually ever kill anyone in the Old Testament? I know Yahweh killed a whole bunch of people.
I'm not as versed in the Old Testament as I should be.
Why? It's more fun.
I have personally read Genesis, Exodus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy.
I'm sorry. The Numbers and Deuteronomy. Skip that.
I exaggerate. I finished Numbers and then started into Deuteronomy and went, oh fuck no, I quit and I stopped reading. I have read Psalms, of course, and I have read passages of Judges and Ruth, and I've read. Oh shoot! What's the book? The one with the cats that come out of the graveyard with. No, the book.
And then he buries his mom in that graveyard, and
the book according to John the Baptist.
Oh, okay.
I've read that one.
Well, yeah, the thing is, the Old Testament's fun and very poetic, and it doesn't get that poetic again until Revelation. But I mean, the philosophy in the New Testament, yes,
Mhm.
that is what's important there in the parables. But as far as just mythology and fun,
No, it's the Old Testament. The Old Testament, you get some really fun stuff. But
and
I don't recall in any of the books that I've read. Oh, and of course, selective passages from every book in the Bible, of course. But I don't recall either Shaitan or yeah,
or Lucifer.
or Lucifer, because yes, they're different. Killing anybody. They don't at all. And quite frankly, with that in mind, one of my favorite stories is actually in the New Testament, and that's the temptation of Christ, where he's out in the desert. And he's thirsty, he's hungry, he's feeling like shit because, well, he's been out in the desert with no food or water for quite a long time. And Shaitan shows up, and this is where I keep on the idea of the devil never lies. He always tells the truth. It may not be the full truth, but he always tells the truth. And he's tempting Jesus, but he's tempting him with the truth. And what's the truth? It's, you're the Son of God. You can make water appear out of the ground, and then you won't be thirsty. You can make manna fall from the sky, and then you won't be hungry, which are all miracles that we saw Yahweh do with Moses in the desert.
Mm.
And it's telling him, you're the Son of God. You don't have to deal with any of this bullshit. And Jesus says no.
So George says Yahweh. Some say Yahweh is the demiurge. From a Gnostic point of view, absolutely, that's not in question. And it reads that way to me. That's how it comes across to me. Again, it's mythology to me. So, no offense to any of the Christians out there. It's just mythology to me. I'm not questioning your faith whatsoever. And I only feel like I need to say that because so many atheists have been such assholes about it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I probably wouldn't feel like I need. Yeah, a lot of dipshit, PZ Meyer type atheists kind of really made it rough
Wow.
for people like me.
That's a name I haven't heard
Yeah,
in a
that's because
while.
nobody gives a fuck anymore. God, that douchebag.
Him
Him and his need to try and hook up with Rebecca Watson. God, talk about that's the past. That's it. Yeah, you reminded me, RNK. Imagine summoning God. Well, there are versions and takes on the whole Yahweh name. That the real reason he was called Yahweh was because if you knew his true name, you could command him to do things, just like a genie or jinn. That's the other one. As far as I understand, God the Father can't be commanded to do anything.
No.
And in fact, some of the Jewish, was it prophets or would command God to do things for them.
Yeah, they would.
Like send bears to kill children. Because somebody made fun of him being bald. I forget what story that is.
I don't remember, but yeah.
And supposedly Moses knew God's name and could ask him to do stuff.
Oh yeah, Moses totally knew his name.
And that's again straight out of jinn mythology.
Well, look at the
Fitzjoseph says that the God depicted in those stories were just angels. If you're talking the Old Testament, if you look at the way the Sumerians, and a lot of it, a lot of this started with the Sumerians. In the Sumerian versions of these stories, before they got filtered through the Egyptians and the Hebrews and the Greeks, before it finally became what it is now, Elohim didn't mean angel. Angels and Elohim were distinctly different beings. Elohim were essentially gods, and Yahweh was one of them. The most powerful of them, but just one of them. And the Elohim were to serve him, I suppose, or something to that. But they all had free will. unlike the angels.
Mhm.
And that's the Sumerian version. So don't say Elohim means angel. No, that the Sumerian version, which predates it by, God, I don't know, a lot. I'd have to go back and check.
Neostar, how does a djinn stack up in terms of supernatural power?
The ability to grant any wish,
Mm-hmm.
bend reality to your request, but you get fucked.
Yeah.
The jinn were immensely powerful. They could change reality and nature itself.
But usually it came with a price.
Well, that's because they were all assholes.
Yeah.
All of them were assholes. Oh, well, we're already behind again.
The Pilgrims also practiced a form of socialism. Then Governor William Bradford ruled that they could keep more of what they produced, and those who do not work will not eat.
Oh, interesting. I agree with you. Revelation from the Bible is the best written of all of the I guess books, is what you call. I would say on just poetic and metaphoric language alone, the Greeks knocked it out of the fucking park on that one. That the just for the poetry of it.
Oh, he wasn't Greek.
Oh, he wasn't? No, the Greeks wrote down the first copies.
John was a Roman. He wrote it.
Oh, John the
John the Gospel.
Are you sure?
Yes. He was captured by the Romans,
Boiled alive,
survived, and put on an island, but he was a Roman.
Did he write that poetry, or did that
Yes.
get filtered through the Greeks?
No, he wrote that.
That's some damn good writing then.
Well, compare it to the Book of John. The only difference is that one, his mind's unhinged, and the other, it's not.
And one, he'd been boiled alive.
Yeah.
Well,
and the island they put him on had opium. But no, John was a Roman.
Well, I will say if that is really it was him who was writing it, I do have to credit him with, was it John 1:1 is my favorite line because I'm a writer.
Yeah.
In the beginning there was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Essentially, you can take that in a lot of different ways. He was with God in the beginning. See, now you can take that in a lot of different ways. Honestly, I think that's the verse of all writers.
And then the last line, all things were made by him and nothing was made without him.
But you see, you could take that in a lot of different ways. That pre-humans and early Neolithic man really couldn't pass knowledge down, words and language were sacred. Names, once you gave something a name, you could talk about it, you could remember it, you could discuss it. Words were creation. So in a sense, I think I'm getting my point of what I mean when he says, in the beginning, there was the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. Creation. So yeah, the verse for every writer, in my opinion.
Well,
and it's beautifully written.
And to bring it back to what you were saying with the Greeks, it's the Logos, right?
Yeah, that is the Logos. That pretty much is. It's also very Jungian.
Yeah. Harble, Ick, imagine summoning God. Neostar, Riser Man stands before you. Yes, perfect timing. I agree.
Okay. Let's see. No offense taken is what he's saying. Okay, good. It's just, I don't know. A lot of YouTube atheists just needed a really good beating. And it wasn't that they were atheists. They just liked being shits.
Well,
and a lot of them weren't atheists. A lot of them truly just hated religion.
That's my feeling about a lot of people who say they're atheists. It's like, no, you just hate God for one reason or another.
And, I can honestly say, no, I don't believe in God as portrayed in most religions. I will say the concept of kame kind of makes sense to me,
Mhm.
as does the logos. But I'll freely admit I kind of wish the Christians were right. It's a very comforting notion. It really is. Funerals really suck for me, man. When a friend dies, that really fucking sucks. I would love to think I could see them again. Of course, I still wouldn't get to see Zed. So,
Why?
well, animals don't get to go to heaven.
Ooh, dogs get to go to heaven.
Don Bluth said that. He's not a Christian.
Was that a Don Bluth film?
Yeah, it was.
Okay. Been so long.
Bird is the word. The history on that song is insane.
Yes. Neostar, I had an idea for making a Jinn the antagonist for a crossover story a while back.
The thing about a djinn, if you know its name, you can make it do things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we came to the end now. Maybe I shouldn't have jumped ahead. Now we're out of topics. Have I offended everyone?
I went through most of a bachelor's degree in Christian theology, and in the end, I've ended up as a deist. That's cool.
Yeah. That definitely, growing up as a kid, that had a lot of appeal to me, deism.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm talking as an elementary school student. But,
Yeah. I flirted with a lot of those things, and now I'm just whatever makes sense at any given time. I'm not putting a label on me. Bar one.
I think he's right.
They hate God because God is the Father. It inevitably boils down to daddy issues.
I fucking think he's right.
Wow.
That is some really deep insight, Bar One.
Dude.
That would explain every feminist atheist I've ever met.
Yeah, it would actually.
I'm channeling Frank Zappa, apparently. I'll take that as a compliment. He was a cool guy.
I'm sorry. I'm just picturing that episode of Powdered Toast Man with the Pope, who was voiced by Frank Zappa.
Yeah, jeez.
Hooray, I'm saved. Humble Marty. All animals get to go to heaven. If it's a loved one, it's a guardian angel. I like that idea. I like to think that
Zed and August are watching over.
Yes, actually. I'd like
hiding under our tables.
Hey,
eating bugs.
There are times when you're asleep and so are the rats, and yet I will hear phantom rodents scurrying around the house.
Well, once you get a rat, that never goes away.
Yeah.
You're always like, you hear the littlest noises. Is that a rat?
Yeah.
Is that a rat doing that? I swear, like 90% of ghost stories from the Middle Ages were just rats.
I agree. All
Things,
the poltergeist,
random noises, things suddenly falling over.
Mm-hmm.
Weird, strange blurs that passed by you.
Yeah.
I've experienced all those, and they were our rats. All right. Wow, we've done another 2 hours.
Yeah.
But I have been drinking caffeine, so I have got the power right now.
You have the power.
Huh. Okay, so I got a weird idea. We'll just change the subject.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Can rats be housebroken?
Yes.
Very easily if they're smart. Now, the thing with rats is we kind of messed with their evolution.
Mm-hmm.
They evolved alongside us. They eat what we eat. Their bodies and their internal organs are...
I'm sorry, I just saw Harple's comment. Rats in little white sheets explains everything.
It would. I could see that. Thing is they pretty much eat what we eat. Their anatomy actually is a much simpler version of our own, which is why we test so many things on them,
Mm-hmm.
sadly. But in all of our experimentation on rats and our breeding of rats and keeping of rats, but especially the medical experimentation, the modern day fancy rat has been kind of quick evolved.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually smarter than wild rats.
Mm-hmm.
And if you let a fancy rat go that's smart, it'll pretty much be running the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's really weird
It'll take over a tribe of wild rats
because
and,
it's smarter.
mhm.
And so if you get a smart one, and that's the thing, they're in a weird phase of their evolution. So you can get rats that are kind of dumb and act like pets,
Mhm.
but then you get rats that are like scary smart. And you can housebreak those rats very easily. This may sound like a strange one, for instance, but both Zed and August, I taught to use to only piss and shit in the bathroom. Now,
Well, they also had a litter box.
they had a litter box, but when they were free and about, I taught them both to. Now, I could never get them to go anywhere but beside the toilet, so we laid paper down.
Yeah.
But all I had to do was repeatedly take the rat in there whenever I pissed or shit, and they caught on that's the room to do that in.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have to do anything else. And I know that sounds a little strange, but yeah, once they caught, actually, it wasn't even that I brought them in, it was that I would leave the door open while I was in there, and they'd figure it out. They'd like stick their nose in, and it's like, what are you doing?
And after like 2 or 3 times, it's like, oh, okay.
Depending on how smart the rat is, once you win its trust, you can get them to start doing stuff just by raising your voice or showing you're not happy with them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like dogs where you have to hit them with a newspaper or hit them with a spray bottle. You can show, look, don't chew on wires, and they won't for the most part. They can. Smart rats and most rats have a very developed sense of delayed gratification,
Mm-hmm.
which means that things that they would want to immediately do, they won't do on impulse.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get them to like, hey, well, maybe I shouldn't do that. So a lot of rats you can teach not to chew on wires or not to chew on things they shouldn't. I guess really the housebroken thing. The main thing is the pissing and shitting. The one thing you can't teach them to do though is if they're that smart, they're also really independent. They're gonna figure out a way to open the damn door.
Oh, their cage door?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna figure out how to pick, and screen doors.
Mm-hmm.
They will open the screen door, and
Or
you could.
just chew through it.
Well, Zed figured out how to unlock it, and I don't know how he did it.
Well, no, he figured out how to unlock it after we fixed the hole that they chewed through. And I know how he figured it out because I finally watched him do it.
Okay.
But yeah, he figured out how to open the sliding screen door.
And they have opposable pinkies that are pretty functional, especially if it's longer than most. If you leave a door that's just like cracked open, just like a tiny bit, they'll open it. They'll go places. If there's a place you don't want them to go, you better keep that door shut, or they're going to go in there. You'll also have to get used to constant things like coming out in the middle of the night and looking up on top of the refrigerator, hearing a sound and wondering how the hell the rat got up there.
Yeah.
So that's just the thing. They'll be really independent. And if they're kind of set on doing something, they're going to go do it. So that's the only other warning.
Mm-hmm.
So like if they're hell-bent on getting outside, they might chew through a wall or we never had that.
Chew through a wall?
They had one try to chew through a wooden door.
Yeah.
But that's because we locked him in the bathroom and he was
not happy about that.
Well, he was misbehaving.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like screen doors, metal screens, no, they're going to chew through them if they want to get outside.
Yeah.
And so ideally, if you've got a free range rat, you should have like a fenced off patio or somewhere that they can go outside that's safe. Because you don't want like a hawk to swoop down and eat them.
No.
So yeah, actually the thing is, rats don't want to get into a fight. They don't really want to bite you. They don't want to piss you off.
For the most part.
They're kind of high strung. But in general, they're very easy to get along with.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Oh, but not Dumbos.
No, not Dumbos.
Dumbos are dumb. Explain Dumbos.
Dumbos are have been genetically bred. It's a recessive trait that's been bred as a breed of rat where their ears have been moved from the tops of their heads like normal rats to the sides, and then their size has been enlarged, so they have these huge ears on the sides of their heads, hence Dumbo rats. And it's gotten to the point now where like I said, it's a recessive trait. So you can have a litter of rat pups, and some will come out looking like normal rats, and others will come out with the Dumbo ears. But with the Dumbo ears comes not as smart. So
They're not as smart, but they tend to be more lovable, and they're good with kids because they're very docile and they love to be picked up.
Yeah, they're very docile. They love to be picked up. They love to be cuddled. They love to be. They're the ragdoll equivalent for rats. For those who know what a ragdoll is.
And unless the rat has decided he's really comfortable riding your shoulder, in general, an independent rat does not like to be picked up.
Mm-hmm.
A pet one that's docile loves it.
Mm-hmm. Well, if the rat has imprinted upon you and become your buddy, they don't mind being picked up.
Trying to think if there's any others, but yeah, they're actually shockingly easy to housebreak.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you give it a few months and the rat just can't figure out where to shit and keeps chewing wires, that's either an outdoor rat or one for a cage. They're not ever going to learn.
No. Trenton, I've had 2 horses that could open a carabiner, I'm probably mispronouncing that, on a chain and get out of their pens. Also, a dog that could get out of any collar.
Jesus.
Wow. Oh, that's the other thing with rats. I forget what the technical term is, but basically if their head can fit through it, they can fit through it.
Yeah.
So any small space, if their head can fit through it, they can get through. So just something to keep in mind. Ginger, you don't have to hit or spay a dog to train it. That actually works against training.
Really? Okay. I only had one dog in my entire life, so I was a little kid. I never had to do any of that stuff, but it was a terrier.
Well,
terriers are smart.
The original idea was that, negative reinforcement would get the dog to listen to you, that you were showing that you were alpha, all that fun stuff. But they have found that dogs do respond very well to positive reinforcement.
As do rats.
I bet it also depends on what it is you're training the dog for.
Oh, God. Okay, let's... Yeah, like the experiment where they were teaching rats to drive little toy cars, and the rats picked it up and then started doing it just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
Or the
fact... Not even needing a treat.
Yeah, not even needing a treat. They just do it for fun. And then also the fact there was the rat that was taught how to play Doom.
Yeah.
And enjoyed it. That should give you a sense of how smart these little guys can get. Now, okay, we'll share that.
They're standard in Dumbo.
Okay, let's share this video. It's probably a hell of a lot less interesting than the religious talk, but...
Who shared with you this video?
Wolf.
Oh. Skeety rat?
Yeah.
There you go.
Watch, YouTube will kick us for this.
Now that is a Dumbo.
Yeah, that's a Dumbo rat. Are those noodles?
And that's a standard. Yeah, that's a blue box mac and cheese.
Oh, okay. I never ate that stuff. So
now that is not a Worcester. That is a ruby-eyed rat. That is not a red-eyed rat. They're actually
get the fuck out of my way. Most people prefer females for some reason, but really I would recommend white males.
Yeah.
They're healthier, they live longer.
There's a blind rat, or his eye hurts. Yeah, his eye hurts. Okay, poor little guy.
The only ones don't get white albinos. They're dumb as rocks.
Yeah,
they were engineered basically or bred to be lab rats.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. They don't really. They're not. Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah.
Aw.
That's.
That's a happy rat.
He's eating peanut butter. They'll do that by
Yes,
themselves
he
if they're
eats peanut butter
happy.
in Dream. Oh, he eats peanut butter in Dream.
Oh no, they just do that when they're happy.
Yeah.
So he's having a good. And look, his eyes are popping out there.
Yeah. Not quite a boggle, but
Yeah, if you pet a rat long enough, he'll
Oh,
Whoa,
oh,
he
there you
is.
go.
He or she is having one hell of a dream.
That is a happy rat.
I guess the only thing I will warn you is you're going to find that your male rats masturbate.
Yes, they do.
I don't need.
Oh, and if you have male rats and you have wild rats outside of your house, they will react when it's lady rat season. Suddenly you will find your boys becoming more aggressive and their cage starts stinking.
Yeah. Okay, question here.
This question still bothers me is why the hate for redheads? Do they represent something? Are they something symbolic or am I too obsessive on the subject?
Hollywood, I've got a couple theories on that. I can say that gingers specifically, it's a class thing. Now, it is true that gingers seem to have a much higher temper.
As he looks at me.
And there's some other things that seem to be genetically traits of gingers. The red-headed rage is true, among other things. Some of them will feel pain more, but a lot of them seem to kind of like it a bit. I don't know why. Why gingers specifically, though? Honestly, I think it goes back to class in England, in the British Isles. It was that gingers were Scottish and Irish, and so gingers were therefore working class or poor, and therefore looked down upon. Also, there's also the stigma of the Irish being Catholics. So ginger is a Catholic then, and then they're looked down upon because they're not Protestants. And so Britain's always been a very class-based society, even to this day. I mean, if you have the wrong accent, you're not going to get hired for certain jobs. So there's that. In Hollywood, I think it's a little different. In Hollywood, the fact of the matter is most of the people running Hollywood look a certain way. And they also have certain preferences. And traditionally in American fiction, I think this also is true in British fiction, but in American fiction, gingers and redheads, because of the Irish, Scottish, Celt genes, if somebody had red hair or were a ginger, it was an indicator that they were working class. The working class character, or maybe the troublemaker, or Orphan Annie was a redhead. Orphan. In the Disney film Pinocchio, who's the kid who tempts Pinocchio to go to Pleasure Island and behave like a shithead?
I forget what his name was, but
he's a ginger,
mm-hmm.
and he's Irish.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a class thing. Part of it, so I'm thinking if it's partially a class thing. That, okay, who are we going to get rid of in the script in this remake? Well, let's replace the working class Irish person with a black person. I think it's also let's replace, which white person do we replace with a black person? Well, let's not pick any of them that look like me, is the other one. Mm-hmm. And as we all know, Hollywood has a thing for certain body types and certain looks. Well, if you're into, I guess, the stories of Finn McCool and the Irish folklore, yeah. Mm-hmm. But there's also the belief they're from Fae. So, or foundlings, or silkies. Mm-hmm. Or was the Black Irish or silkies?
Yeah, the Black Irish or silkies.
So that's what I would be. I am Black Irish or silkies. So, yeah. And then there's also the idea that the gingers or redheads were born with the gift of the sight, which could be good or bad depending on who you were. and what you believed. Witches. But yeah, it is kind of creepy, this hatred of redheads in Hollywood.
Larry, Hollywood seems to have a preference for the 11-year-old boy body type, if you ask me.
Yes, 11-year-old boys and women who look like them.
Mm-hmm.
And did you notice that during the Hollywood Me Too, almost every legit case, I'm not saying all of them, but almost every legit case of somebody in the Me Too phase of Hollywood that had been raped was a blue-eyed blonde woman who was slender.
Who had or attempted?
No, who had been raped.
Who had been
Or actually had been. Not all of them, but a ridiculous number of them all fit that kind of Aryan.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So clearly Hollywood producers have a thing for Aryan women.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to drop your Aryan beauty from it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get rid of the redhead. Let's get rid of the poor one, the working class one.
Mm-hmm.
That's my theory. Now I think they're just doing it because it pisses people off.
Yeah. Beauty and the Beast kept the brunette. Get out.
Yeah.
But Ariel, get rid of the redhead. Wait, Black Irish people had their own slurs?
Silky isn't.
That's not a slur.
Okay.
It's a myth.
Do Silkies count as one of the Fae, or are they something?
They're a Fae.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, the redhead gingers, sometimes they were thought to be either gifted with the sight of the spirits, or were, I guess, the product of some sort of human and Fae.
Touched by the Fae, or.
But the Black Irish, the black-haired, pale-skinned ones, there was the story of the Silky, who was was it a mermaid or was it a seal? A fisherman had caught the seal out on land, and underneath the skin of the seal was a gorgeous milk white. What?
Well, maybe there's different stories.
The one I read that she had milk white skin and pitch black hair.
No. The story that I heard was he saw, he was a fisherman who saw the seal beach itself, and then a young woman emerged from the skin, and she was frolicking on the beach, but left her skin behind.
And he took her skin so she couldn't return from the water, and he forced her to marry her.
Yeah.
And they had kids. And I forget what exactly. Eventually, she gets her skin back and goes back to the water. And the kids don't have a mother anymore.
Yeah.
And they were the Silky children.
Mm-hmm.
So they all were very pale and had black hair.
And yes, they made a movie from that. That legend was The Secret of Ronan-ish, for those who have seen it.
Hey, I said I like the folklore of the British Isles.
You've seen Secret of Ronan-ish, right?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's actually, I think you would really like it, because this young girl living in Ireland, her family are all blondes, but her brother came out with dark hair. And the legend is that they are the descendants of a silky woman and a fisherman, and that her brother is a reminder of that. And one day he goes missing, and so it's her searching the ocean for him.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I mean, like, she's like 10. And he's 6 or 7.
Here we go.
Bar 1, deepest lore. The sea people who collapsed Bronze Age civilization were redheads. They're afraid we'll do it all again to them.
I think I've actually heard some of that.
Yeah.
But there has always been some sort of weird obsession with redheads. I mean, I guess before there were redheads in the British Isles,
well,
the Egyptians had redheads till they killed them all.
My grandmother's maiden name was Gaudilock. Gaudilock means redheaded.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And Finny means fair-skinned.
Mm-hmm. So there you go.
it also means fair, as in just, but it primarily means fair-skinned. So yeah. Let's see. And I know that there's some weird Anunnaki Sumerian thing about redheads sometimes too.
Well, there is the Egyptian thing.
Well, the Egyptians had redheads till they killed all of them.
Well, yeah, it was but it wasn't because they were evil. It was because they were blessed. And that's why you have to kill them.
Yes, that's it. We all know that the redheads have tempers. Nobody wants to raise anyone. They're blessed.
Yeah.
Time to feed it to the croc.
Well, like on the Egyptian calendar, my birthday is it's all children, especially if they're redheads, are to be sacrificed. But in general, and if they're redheads, it's specifically to Set because they are beloved by Set. Which is not a bad thing. Set is not evil. But anyway, he's just an asshole.
He's just grumpy because he got a raw deal.
Yeah, he's a major asshole. Bar 1. There's a Japanese yokai with red hair, known to be found on beaches and drinks an unfathomably strong sake.
I must find this.
I think I've seen that.
We're going to try that. Oh, no. Black Irish were fair-skinned with very dark hair. And they know to some degree a lot of that was due to the Spanish Armada washing up on the Irish shores. But there were dark-haired, fair-skinned people before that in Ireland. So it wasn't entirely the Spaniard blood.
Well, them being silkies is a metaphor for them being the Spanish washing up. It's to excuse the fact that there was some out of wedlock coupling.
Yeah, well, and plenty that did get married because the Spanish didn't like the British, and they were Catholic, and the Irish said, "Oh, well, welcome to the club. We'll take you in." Whereas the ones that washed up in England got killed. But they were welcomed by the Irish because they were like, "Well, you're Catholic. You hate the Brits. Sure. You can marry my daughter. You're a sea captain."
Yeah. Bar 1. Wait, Goldilocks was actually a ginger?
No, Goldilocks.
Oh, Goldilocks.
No. Goldilocks had gold locks. No. Write it down.
Gowdy? Okay. There you go. Goldilocks.
Apparently that's red locks.
Yeah.
Explains your grandmother. And then imagine the Irish sleeping with shipwrecked foreigners. Inconceivable. Yeah, the number of Irish Americans who came home with Japanese wives after the war is really impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, the numbers are a lot higher than you would ever imagine.
Well, just in general.
Yeah. I mean, a ridiculous number of them came home with Japanese wives. And yes, damn, it moved. You were correct as far as I know, Fizz.
Oh, Apep was the main evil god in Egyptian mythology. Yes, Apep was the serpent who wanted to swallow the sun, and Set was actually our only protector against him. But, his name sounds like Satan, so he's instantly evil. And he was an asshole, so he's instantly evil.
The thing is Apep sounds like a pill you would take to wake up in the morning. I mean, Apophis sounds badass, but Apep's like, need some pep in the morning, try Apep.
I prefer calling it Apophis.
But everyone thinks of Stargate SG-1.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, Apep. Goldilocks sounds cheesy.
No.
Wolf 10. Now I shall take a break from her. Can draw her bow from.
Oh, he's talking about his drawings. I read that differently. I shall take a break from her can, meaning her butt, and draw her. That's what I thought he said. I took it completely different.
That is okay.
Yeah, Mad Ginger, he's the one to ask. He's actually better versed in the Irish stuff than I am because, well, Mad Ginger.
Yeah.
We need to have him on the Monday cast sometime.
Sure. The national dog of Ireland, the Kerry Blue Terrier, was created by a curly black-haired dog that swam in with the defeated Spanish fleet. Oh, that's cool.
Told you he's better at this than me.
And it was a terrier, which means it was very smart.
All right, should we call it a night or?
Well, we've been on for 2.5
Holy
hours.
shit, we've been on for 2. All right, well, this has been a actually really good one.
Mhm.
I mean, I had no idea. I was considering. I was kind of pushing towards another podcast about big tits, and somehow we fall into the politics of, damn it, just let's enjoy Christmas, damn it. Then it went to religion, and then to Irish people and redheads.
So,
It's you know what? We haven't had a nothing cast this good in a long ass time.
yeah.
He said Gouda locks.
Gouda. Oh, I miss Gouda. I really do.
Yes, that was a good can of Monster Harble.
I thought they made Seth evil because he was their defense for the foreign invaders and he wasn't doing his job. Well, do you mean Seth? Well,
That's very confusing for a lot of reasons.
yeah.
Which Seth, which Set,
Well, Set,
who was also called Seth.
he was also called Seth, or Seti. Yes, that's who the pharaoh was named for. Seti the first was named for Set.
But it's not the same Seth in the Bible, right?
No, it's not the same Seth.
But yet somehow they're
See that's
but they're
problem.
somehow
Yeah.
merged sometimes.
Yeah. Well, okay. Oh, God.
Well, oh wow. This is one of the few times we bring up Egyptology and you don't get a good grin. You actually facepalm and go, oh God, I can't think of this stuff.
Well, the problem is that the Egyptians and the Greeks cross-pollinated a lot. They actually
Literally.
Yeah, literally.
But
I mean, like,
yeah, they really got along, didn't they?
They got along very well. But I mean, like, I have legends, I have stories from Egypt where you'll have a person, an Egyptian person, who runs into a Greek and they're talking, and the Egyptian says, well, Thoth told me XYZ. Oh, I'm sorry, you know him as Hermes. And where that's just part of the legend, where they're talking to the Greeks and saying, oh, my God is this. Or the Greeks will be talking to an Egyptian and say, my God is this. And so...
Yet the Romans were highly dismissive of their gods.
Well, the Romans were superior. So, even though they borrowed from everybody.
Yeah,
so.
because I know they really kind of ripped on the Egyptian gods, where the Greeks and the Egyptians seemed to get along.
Well, the Greeks and the Egyptians got along, but the Greeks weren't trying to conquer the Egyptians. They did trade with them. They did commerce. Where when the Romans came around, now keep in mind the Egyptians were around for 3,000 years.
That's a lot of time.
We're in the year 2022. The Egyptians were around for 3,000. So, so when the Romans finally came around, it was when they started having a decline. And so, of course, the Romans, being these superior conquerors, of course, they're going to look down on this, these savages. But before then, the Greeks and the Egyptians were on even field. But that's the problem, is that because you had a lot of, borrowing and cross-pollination and merging of things, Set and Seth get confused, and then when it gets Romanized and from there Christianized, Set and Seth blend into Satan. And
is that what happened?
Yeah. So you get a lot of people confusing names and thinking one person is the same as this other person when really they're not. It's just that their names are similar. And then it merges into Christianity. So it gets all confused, which is also fun because this, I'm just going to throw this out there because it's a fun fact and I love sharing it. It's because of this mixing of words, specifically from the Greeks, that we get the idea that Egyptian mummies are medicine. It's a mistranslation.
Really?
It is completely a mistranslation.
Okay.
What it is in alchemy and in ancient medicine, there is a resin that you can gather from the banks of the Black Sea that was thought to have medicinal properties. The problem is that the word for that resin is very similar to the word for Egyptian mummies from that time period, and the color is the same. The color of human skin, once it's been treated with natron, is the same color as this resin that you get from the Black Sea. So it's like, oh, it's the same color. The name's the same. It must be this. So instantly you have corpse medicine. And you have this black market of corpses.
Oh, God.
For over 3,000 years.
Yes, and I actually write quite a bit about this, the symbolism and the meaning of the one boob out in Boobs of Steel, going all the way back to Diana and it being a sign of female strength.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, good you bring that up. Okay, well, I you know what? I think this is a good place to stop it, but I will say one thing. I think I know why this show was so good.
Yeah?
I finally got a good night's rest.
Yes, you did.
I finally got a full night's sleep for once.
You needed it.
And I feel better. All right, well, Merry Christmas up to all of you.
Mm-hmm.
And or whatever you do this holiday, but
Yep.
Merry Christmas all the same. As Kat and I will be enjoying our Christmas and her spooky tree she's created. I helped, but I mean, she created a guillotine Christmas ornament with snow all over it.
I have pictures on my Instagram.
Yes. We made our own ornaments, but I think that and the phantasm ball you made for the tree.
He won't let me put the skull on top of the tree.
I think that's overkill.
I'm only half joking.
I think that's overkill. I
But
really
it's got a little Santa hat.
okay, man. No, look,
I'm joking.
I want to create a flying saucer that we hang from the ceiling over the tree with light beaming down onto the tree.
I love that. We need to do that.
But
we really need to do that.
All right, you guys have a Merry Christmas. Be with family. Be happy. Drink your eggnog. Wassail. No one throwing in on this?
Rum. I don't like rum.
No.
But you can enjoy it. If you like rum, you can enjoy it. It's Christmas, goddammit.
And if you got a significant other, grab your woman and squeeze her titties and say Merry Christmas.
Yes.